NBA Cup, Emirates Cup, that is coming up here in a couple of weeks. And so we've had a lot of teams that have been battling out, and we got some final standings that are going to go into kind of the elimination pool before they get out to Vegas and finish those games. So I'm gonna give you some of these standings, and really just want to hear your take, bro. What you thought about some of these teams? Any are shockers? But Toronto Raptors 4-0. We spoke highly of them
Hmm.
episode 1, saying we think that's going to be a team that is going to compete this year. They build a very tall, physical, two-way roster, and they're showing proof of that right now. Orlando Magic, they're hooping. They're 4-0 in the Emirates Cup. New York Knicks, they've been very quiet under the radar. They're 3-1. Miami Heat's 3-1. On the Western Conference side, you got OKC 4-0. They're still
Hmm.
19-1. I still can't believe they lost. They dropped that one game to Trailblazers. They was up like 20.
Yep.
And they haven't looked back since. Phoenix Suns 3-1. They had a very, very competitive game versus Thunder
They've
these
been
past couple
surprising.
days. Oh my goodness, man. They just played, but they took a lot of bad shots, but we'll talk about that. Um Los Angeles Lakers, man, 4-0. They're doing what they need to do. Not surprised there. Memphis Grizzlies, matter of fact, I'll leave them alone because I forgot they're eliminated, but they had a pretty decent record. And then you got the San Antonio Spurs at 3-1 in the Cup.
Hmm.
What's your thoughts, man? Again, it's been a lot of good basketball, but any huge takes you got from what we've been seeing so far in the Cup?
Well, I mean, we could address the teams that I wasn't surprised to see in the quarterfinals. Obviously, starting with OKC. I mean, they have
The
been
obvious.
exceptional on both sides of the ball. I've never known a team to have seven players in the top 10 in defensive rating.
Insane, bro.
Like, this is like 85 Chicago Bears level of defensive dominance, and that's another sport.
Hmm.
That's just how rare this level of defensive continuity and synergy is in basketball, especially at the NBA level, because guys are so good.
And we're not
It's
talking
hard
about
to
it
stop.
enough.
Bro, this is incredible. And then they lead the league in several other statistic categories. So I'm not surprised to see OKC where they are. I am surprised to see Phoenix and Toronto, though. Really
Okay.
proud of what Toronto has been able to do. They rattled off eight straight. To your point, they've put together a really long, versatile, dynamic roster. I didn't know how the pairing of BI and Scotty Barnes would complement one another, but they've seen I've kind of figured it out. I think Scotty feels very comfortable in being this enforcer, defensive presence, and allowing BI to be the scorer and the killer that he is. And he's grown into that role. He's had a couple of games where he's closed games out in the
Yes, he's
in
had
the
a
final
few.
5 seconds. So I'm even watching him take another step of evolution in his development as from being a guy who was a consummate starter to potentially being like an all-star star level player.
Are you shocked to see
And then
this
I
from
like
BI?
I wouldn't say shocked. I'm between surprised and relieved.
Okay. That's fair.
Because I
Same.
think coming into the league, we all had moderate expectations for B. I don't think anybody expected him to be an all-world player, but we all expected him to perform like a second overall pick should perform.
Facts.
And since he's been in the league, he's had some ebbs and flows. I think largely due to the rosters he's been a part of and a lot of the movement and roster construction, coaching changes. But now to be somewhere in Toronto, to have a coach that believes in you, to have a coaching staff and to have a management staff that believes in you,
And he's
teammates that
healthy.
believe in you, he's healthy. And his woman, I don't think there's a bigger fan in that arena than Glorilla.
Hmm. Hmm.
Anytime B, I got the ball in his
I
hand and
love
say what you
seeing
want to
it.
say, but that feel good. Yeah, that feels
Hmm.
good as a man to have your woman there supporting you the way that she is.
I
And
mean,
he's
he's getting
balling.
buckets
So
every night. He's like, look,
they get into it.
the shorty in the game, bet. Say less. I'm taking his last shot.
So I like what Toronto's doing. And
Same.
pleasantly surprised to see how well Phoenix is playing. I just think that they're a team that has benefited from not having they've benefited from having a low maintenance superstar like Devin Booker.
That's a good
He's
take.
one of, I think, the easiest superstars to pair alongside another superstar in the league.
Yo.
And so, bringing Jalen Green in, Dylan Brooks in, and, you know, welcoming them with open arms and building chemistry with them and allowing them to be themselves has really
Mhm.
benefited this Phoenix Suns team.
And what I love about Bookman, I've never heard him complain about their
Never,
roster construction. He just goes with it. He just
never.
goes with it. And to me, he's that guy like Katie. He's just a hooper at heart. He just wants to hoop. He's
Yep,
not gonna
I would
talk
agree with
about
that.
this and that. And honestly, man, like I'm gonna wait till we get to that segment because there's one more person I want to add to what we're gonna talk about later. But
But
again, man, I think Book is just one of those guys that he will work wherever and he just wants to hoop. And I think adding Brooks has to get some credit on his name. He deserves some flowers because anywhere that he goes, he is showing that he can be a leader. He's
yeah,
going to create a presence, especially on the defensive end. Like those dudes, when they got after it against OKC, but their offense was terrible. Um, they got a lot of they kept the game close because of defense, but
right.
they took so many ill-advised threes, and they were saying it so much in the commentary too, like just catching the ball, just letting it fly. I'm like, man, like you can't take those type of shots against OKC and expect to win the game.
Time to score. That is
Like,
such a yeah. I mean, and it's such a nuanced skill to have.
hmm.
Understanding time to score and the management of time to score. But sorry,
No,
digressing
you're
from the
good.
conversation. Yeah,
You're good. Yeah, that so I was very curious to see that. Hopefully they'll get to meet each other again soon, but yeah, man, I think that's gonna be pretty interesting. Few others I want to talk about, and I know they're eliminated. And the other team is staying. Orlando Magic is still going to compete, but Detroit got eliminated. What was your thoughts on the
right.
matchup? Seeing Cade, one, he missed those free throws, and then they dropped another game to Orlando the other day. What's your thoughts there? Worried about Detroit, or
Well,
you good
let's
on them?
yeah, let's talk Detroit first.
Hmm.
I'm not worried about Detroit,
Hmm.
but I do think that they are a team that has a lot of maturing to still
Hmm.
do.
Yeah.
The way that they dropped those games late, were the things that they were doing were avoidable. And some of it doesn't require coaching, right? When you're sideline out of bounds and it's 10, 12 something seconds on the clock, you have five to inbound the ball. Your internal clock should be going off when you're trying to get the ball in. If I get to 3 seconds, I have to come to the ball.
Yeah.
That's something that a coach shouldn't have to
No.
remind you of.
You
That's
learned that
something
as a
that you're
kid.
taught in elementary basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so some of the ways that they're losing games are they're immature, rudimentary mistakes that could be easily avoidable. And so I'm not overall worried about their success as a team and their ability to address some of those issues, but the fact that you all still need to address them is a problem.
Yeah.